Welcome to the On the Go podcast. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit different. I've changed the camera angle so that it's going to be facing away from me and outwards. I filmed this while I was on the way to pick up Dave, actually, from last time's, from the last podcast that I uploaded. And it was just the drive to, on the way to pick him up. And I figured it could be, it could be cool to see from the other perspective of what it looks like. So the drive is pretty simple. I mean, you can see where I'm going, and I know I say this almost in every goddamn podcast, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but if you're from Montreal, you'll know exactly where I am. I'm heading down, or maybe not actually. If you're not from the NDG, Côte Saint Luc, Hampstead kind of area, which is more of a western part of Montreal, midwestern part of Montreal, then you won't know where I am. But this is Ellerdale. Oh my God, I don't even know what this. I'm looking at the video now. I can't tell where it is. I think it's Ellerdale, but it's coming up to Queen Mary, which a lot of you know. Montrealers will know Queen Mary. It's a pretty main street. It runs east and west, goes all the way to Côte des Neiges, and then running west goes all the way down into Montreal West. I nearly said West Montreal, but it's Montreal West, which is the west of Montreal, but it is called Montreal West. So going past Queen Mary, I was trying to get to Girouard because I was going to cut down all the way to Sherbrooke and drive along Sherbrooke going east to where David lives because he lives downtown. I won't tell you exactly where he lives, for privacy's sake and all that jazz. There's a couple of moments here where you see the camera case. The case actually, the door of it keeps bumping into the front. And, oh, there it goes again. Yeah, so that got pretty tedious. You can see I'm trying to fix it with my fingers, which is definitely a no-no. So I made sure at a red light I taped it shut. Or taped it open, rather. I couldn't tape it shut because I turned the camera in the case so that it was facing towards the window. And it worked pretty well. I was pretty impressed with it. Of course the audio got completely messed up. Oh, yeah, that's me blowing through an orange light. Try not to do that. It's not great. Not great to do that. Yeah, I try to be a good driver, It's a good idea, especially when you're driving, when your podcast is in a car and you're advocating to drive safely. It would be a bit ironic if my driving was horrible. But, you occasionally blow through an orange light. It's not so bad. Not the end of the world. At least I'll keep telling myself that. So as you can tell so far, it's just you and I. It's just a one-man podcast today. It's the weather hasn't exactly been very nice, except in this video. Obviously, the weather was great in it, which is why I have it uploaded. But I also wanted to see the difference in audio quality, just with me talking into my laptop, and seeing if that would sound better. Now, the one thing that I've noticed so far while I'm filming these things is that the audio is, how can I put it, crap sometimes, to put it lightly. It's that there's just so many times where, you're having a good conversation, there's good information going back and forth, but the road just has so many potholes, and no matter what you do, the audio just comes out poorly. You hear clicks, you hear small, bits of interference. And while the easy fix would be just to get a very expensive microphone and hooking it up in a way that would, secure it, that it wouldn't be, that it wouldn't be too noisy, all the extra interference with small things in the car moving around, or even us for that matter. I just wanted to see if, this method would work better. In which case, you would still be getting the audio part of the podcast, and you'd actually see what we would be talking about. It would be the same thing, except without our faces. Now, what I was thinking of doing is you see this in a lot of gaming videos where on the main screen, or well, I shouldn't say the main screen, on the screen, there is the game that the person is playing, and in the bottom corner, either the bottom, well actually it could be in the top corner as well, there's a little box where the person's face is. That's that's the way they get the reactions and stuff. I was thinking of doing that. It could be fun. So maybe if I'm talking with somebody, then I'd have their face in one corner and my face in the other. Or I could do a split screen. So the bottom screen could be us, who's ever in the car with me, both of us, with the camera facing towards us. But that would mean that I would have to get a second camera, which would face the opposite direction. So, could be interesting. We'll see. Plans for the future, right? So now we're on Sherbrooke. Unfortunately, there's quite a bit of traffic. There's this mural on the left-hand side. If you can look, it's unfortunately the Shell sign is in the way of it. But it's one of my favorite murals in Montreal, which there are quite a few of. And if you can get a close look, it's a little kid. There we go, right there. Yeah, they're really nice. You occasionally get just these stunning murals in Montreal. I love finding them, and I love taking photos of them. Heading down Bureau Gros on the left there, that's that's where I got the camera, actually. This camera that I'm using right now. So it wouldn't be too bad of an investment to get another one. Just because, there could be other things that I can do in the car besides just having the camera facing us. So that's enough about the podcast itself. I'm sure you've heard enough about that. I mean, you do watch it every week, right? Of course you do. Loyal fans that you are. So I figured I would talk about, I don't even know how to word it, kitchen safety? Maybe, cooking when you're not drunk. Not that I was drunk at the time, when I had a little accident with a kitchen mandolin. And if you don't know what that is, it is basically a board or a plastic sheet, and it has a blade in the middle of it that's raised very slightly, and you can slide like carrots or potatoes, vegetables or fruit over it, and you get these very symmetrical and well cut pieces of food. So I was using that for the first time, I might add, the other day, and I swiped my thumb right through it. So now a part of my thumb is gone. So that's interesting. Just in case you needed to know these weird details about my life. But I figured we'd talk about something, right? It is just me. And at this point, I mean, if you've gotten this far, you might as well continue. There's no point in turning back. So I cut a part of my thumb off to make a long story short. I cut a part of my thumb off. So that was great. The healing process has been really interesting. Just because, well, first of all, it looks really odd because, the round part of your thumb, well, your thumb is round at the end. So my thumb is on my left hand, and my thumb is round up until the top middle part, and then it kind of just goes diagonally down. It's not great, I have to say. My thumb's been very sensitive, so that's cool. But yeah, I mean, not to sound gross, but it's been very interesting watching it heal. Just it's amazing what your body can do. Not that a lot of it came off. Well, actually, that's debatable. Feels like a lot of it came off, but in reality, it's not that much. I'll here actually. Well, should warn you now. If you're squeamish, or if you don't like looking at injured fingers or injured parts of anybody, then I would divert your eyes away from the screen right about now and listen to the audio part of the podcast. So now that I've told you that, here it is. Ew. Yep, that's kind of gross. But you can see that you know, what I'm talking about. It's round and then it's not. Just that weird uh, angle. It's like it's very wrenching, I guess. It's just surprising. You know what I mean? And so yeah. Well, anyway, the healing's going fine, but I've been put out of commission since last Thursday or Friday. I can't quite remember when it happened. It's one of those days. I mean, it's just the tip of my thumb, but the whole thing has gotten so sensitive, which I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure the reasoning behind that is because my body's telling me to keep everything away from it, which pretty logical. Another thing I wanted to mention was I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing this summer, especially in May, because I'm going to be starting to work 5 days a week. Pretty brutal outdoor work. And if that's the case, I don't know how I'm going to continue doing this. I mean, maybe I'll take a break from, what is it, May to August? Yeah. I might take a break from May to August and, I'll see how it goes, just because I'll be taking my bike to work mostly, but also be taking the bus and things like that, public transport. So I don't know how I'm going to do an on the go podcast uh, in those circumstances. I'll have a vlog of my own. On the weekends, I'll be doing lots of interesting activities. Hopefully blacksmithing. Probably should, a couple of my friends have mentioned it, but I am a total nerd and loser. So, so there's some extra information about me. I do like blacksmithing. It's quite fun. I've done it before, but I wanted to do it with a friend of mine. We are supposed to get ourselves a shop together and start working on some projects we've been thinking about. So the blacksmithing has been going on for a while already. But I also want to do some other fun activities. I also like archery as well, and I usually only get to do that during short amounts of time during the summer. But really, I'd really like to, get down to it and get down to it. But yeah, I'd really like to get more into it and maybe film a bit of it or something, or maybe go on a hike and film that. My GoPro is, well, it's not a GoPro, it's Activian, but same thing, same kind of size. You've seen it in one of my videos. I showed what it looked like. But it could be interesting just to walk around with it. Go for a hike or something like that. But yeah, I'd like to vlog a bit more. Just film some random stuff. It's to me, it's very interesting. I really do like it. I'd like to set up another channel. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. Josh Vlogs? No, something boring, right? Random vlogs, Josh Adventures. God, Josh Adventures. That sounds pretty fucking lame now. Jeez Louise. But then again, I thought On The Go podcast was going to be pretty lame, and I'm enjoying this immensely. So, whatever. I guess we'll see what happens, right? Anyway, so this has been a pretty short podcast. Just a bit of an update and a bit of a chit-chat. It's been very slow. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to pick somebody up and talk to them today. But on Thursday, hopefully that will be the case. So I will try filming in this format for the next podcast, and I'll see how that goes. Also, it would give people who are camera shy a chance to come on and talk, just so that it's audio. And yeah, that's about it, really. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like this format or not. And I will speak to you another time. Bye.